Hello, my name is Ghassan Arman. Thank you again for coming back. Now, this is my work environment. You can see here we have a DC client machine and Exchange server. Now, FQDC1 will be the domain controller that we are going to do the group policies. I'm going to allow the DC to communicate with the PC, and I'm not going to allow the Exchange server to communicate with the DC by using ID filtering. Now, first, let's take a look at firewall settings on our Windows machine. You can see the firewall is currently turned off on my client machine. I turned it off explicitly. I'm going to log in with the admin account now to show you the advanced part of the firewall, where you can see that on the inbound firewall rules, we don't have any type of rules for file sharing that will block it. So the machine can freely be communicating using the file sharing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to block SND only inbound, so nobody can access this machine file sharing, but this machine can access servers using firewall. Now I'm moving to my domain controller. I'm going to open the portion, and I'm going to try to ping my machine and see that it's pingable, and I'm going to try to access shared resources as well. So you can see it's replying now. And now I'm going to run the command let view with the client machine name, so I can see that there is shared folders and it's accessible. There's a shared folder called tool here, and it's accessible. This is from the DC. I'm performing this task now. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move to my Exchange server, or let's consider just any other machine. I'm going to open PowerShell again, and I'm going to try to go and ping the machine, and you can see that it is pingable, because I did not do any restrictions yet. I'm going to use the let view command again from the Exchange machine, and here, sorry, I was typing, so I'm going to ping it again. This is replying. You can see ID51, and if I'm going to do let view HQCLT1, which is my client machine, you can see I can see the shared folder. It's a tools folder shared on my client machine. Now I'm going to move to my domain controller and try to block SMB on this machine only from certain IP addresses. Okay, so I'm going to block Exchange server from being able to access this server. I'm going to demonstrate Exchange as another client PC here, because I don't have any other Windows client machine, but consider the Exchange server here is my client machine, and you can see the DC ID is 10, is going to be allowed to communicate later, and the Exchange ID is 21, the last bit of it, and you can see it can't communicate after we do the implementation. Now you can see the machine is placed in an OU called a consortium computer, so I'm going to create a group policy and link it to this OU, and then do GB update and see how this will turn out. Now I'm going to open a group policy management console from my domain controller and expand my domain console, and you can see on the console computer I don't have any group policies linked now. I'm going to create a new policy. I'm going to name it Windows Firewall Restrictions for now. So maybe other firewall settings will be used in the future within the same policy instead of keep creating policies. Now I'm going to edit this policy. Click and edit. Then I'm gonna expand that, and let me go to policies under computer configuration, Windows settings, and let's go to security settings and Windows firewall with advanced security. So I'm gonna expand that, and you can see here that the domain, private, public profile, they are not configured currently. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure the firewall is turned off on all my client machines, and only the specified protocols is allowed later. So I'm going to turn it on for the domain profile, for the private profile, and for the public profile. In case the machine is connected to any profile, this should be applied. So I'm going to click OK now. You can see it's turned on now, the firewall in the group policy. So I'm going to go to inbound rules, and create my rules. It's very straight forward rules. I'm going to go new rule. I'm going to use predefined rules. I'm going to use file sharing. And you can read about file sharing direct SLD on Microsoft Technics. I will tell you what it is used for. You can see now the predefined is already creating all the rules for me instead of creating one by one. So I'll just take a quick look at it, and we can see it's blocking certain programs, certain protocols, and definitely certain ports. As you can see, all the SMB ports. By the way, this includes the ping, ICMP. If you want to allow ping, you can remove the check mark for ICMP IDV4 and ICMP IDV6 from here, or otherwise you can just continue as it is. I'm going to choose block the connection and finish. Now, here, if we take a look, what I did now, I created the rule, but it's blocking everyone from accessing this machine. I don't want everyone to be blocked. I want the main controller to be able to access this machine using file sharing, maybe other servers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the exceptions using the IDs, or I'm going to do the ID scope, the remote ID. The rule is applied for this connection from specific IDs. By the way, here I'm adding the SMB direct just as an additional step. Yeah, so it's up to you. You can add it or not. Doesn't really matter. If you're not using it, it's not going to make any difference. So now if I go, excuse me. So I'm going to go now to the scope tab for one of the rules, and you can see the remote ID is any IP address. Excuse me. Okay, it's any IP address, and what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to define, you can use an IP address or a range or a subnet. I'm going to use the range of Exchange server, which is 21 and 22. Now you can see here all the rules. So now adding this, I'm going to repeat this for all the rules created on this screen. I'm going to remove the local public. But anyway, if you want to restrict specific built-in networks or computers, you can select the checkbox at the bottom and select local public and so forth. But usually in most organizations we have a lot of public, so local public will not do us any good. So I'm going to use the IP range here instead of local public. That will be more appropriate. Now we can use, as you see in the example, we can add multiple publics from the above selection. So we can cover all our networks, the client network. Okay, now we're done. And if we look at our group policy now, we can take a look at the settings, and we can see under security settings. And with the firewall, we can look at the inbound rules. You can see the rules are created with the specified ports and protocols, and the remote ID ranges that is blocked from communicating with this machine. You can see that the domain, private, and public profiles are on now. Now the only thing I have to do is to scope this group policy to the contour, so computers only. Just select right click on existing GPO, Windows server restrictions, and here you go. Now we can use the new feature of group policy update using group policy management console. Or we can use the old typical method where I go to the client PC and update the group policy manually for testing purposes definitely. Or you do a group policy refresh interval is 90 minutes by default. So within 90 minutes all the client machines will be getting the update. Now let's do GB update /4. And you can see in the background, it starts changing my firewall settings. Looks like it's applied. Okay, computer policy is applied. Now user policy, I did not do anything in user policy. So here you can see that firewall is turned on. If I go to advanced settings and go to inbound rules and filter by group for file and printer sharing, you can see I have some rules with red now. This is a block rule, and if I double click on one of them and go to the scope, you can see the IP ranges that I'm restricting traffic from. So any other machine that is not within that range can access this machine using SMB. If it falls within this range, it will not. And you can see the protocol defined here. So now, after this, let's go make sure that our policies are working. I'm going to try to access the machine from the DC, and I should be able to using ping and let's do command again. And here ping HQCLT1. You see it's still replying, nothing changed on the DC. So let's do HQCLT1, and still I can access the file share, just the tools share folder. Now if I go back to my Exchange server and try to ping HQCLT1, you can see it's not pingable because my firewall is blocking traffic, the ICMP and SMB from the ID range within this server. Now I can use netview command again to see if I can access shared files, but on the ping. And let's do this view, and there you go. You can see I cannot access the file on that machine. And this is how we restrict file sharing using Windows Firewall through group policies, so client machines cannot communicate with each other. If your firewall is turned off on your environment, make sure when you turn it on, you cover all the protocols required. Make sure that you're applying the group policy to your client machines only and not your server. You want to block machines from accessing servers using certain protocols. So maybe you don't want to turn the Windows Firewall on the Windows Server machine if it has complex applications that require specific exceptions. Now, one final thought regarding group policies, this is out of context of this video, but I noticed a lot of companies, when they create group policies, every time they need to do a setting, they just create a new group policies, group policy. And what I recommend usually is use a common policy for all the settings related to this service or this action, like here Windows Firewall restrictions. So in the future, if I need to do anything on the firewall, on Windows Firewall, I need to access this policy and do it all over again for all my client machines. I don't have to create another firewall policy that says Windows Firewall